Welcome back to Gero Dynamics. Okay, so I'm going to try a different type of video today. I've run out of stuff that I would like to open on the channel. I have some other sealed product, but I think I want to leave it sealed for drafts. I've run out of stuff to open, and I did just find out today that luckily I was going to be able to get some double masters. I wasn't 100% sure when I started hearing about the limited product that was out there, but my local store, my LGS, Collector's Paradise, by the way, in Fresno, California. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. So my local store did allow me to pre-order a collector's box and a regular draft booster box at a great price too, by the way. And so I really appreciate that from them. Has nothing to do with the videos. I don't even think they know I do videos, but just as a customer who comes in there regularly, they treated me well. I really appreciate that. But since I know that I have that product coming, I especially wanted to do these videos. And I have some soul searching to do because I'm getting one of each, and I kind of wanted to hold some sealed, especially after how well the last set did. But I'll probably open them on camera and maybe regret my life choices in a year or two when they double and triple in price. But either way, let's go ahead and do it, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna do with these videos, I'm gonna start off in this video giving you a brief rundown. I think I've done this before, but might as well touch on it again, of my collection philosophy. I'm more of a collector than anything else. Finance is important to me. I do want my cards to be worth something. I like that idea. And I touch on it a little bit in my videos, and it's something that, when I watch videos, I often watch financial content creators, right? And so it's important to me, but more important than even playing the game, finance, more important than anything else is my collection. I have a huge collection that I'm working on whittling down, and this is my collection philosophy that I would like to get to with my collection. A single copy of every card I can possibly get my hands on. Not every variation, mind you. A single copy. So a single variation of each card that has ever been printed. And so it starts getting a little complicated in certain things. And this set is a prime example of where it gets complicated for me. Where it also gets complicated is I'm a set collector, and I'm a individual card collector, so oftentimes those are just going to butt head to head, and I just have to deal with the fact that I want my sets complete, any set that I can complete, I want them complete, and so that sometimes leads to duplication if a card gets reprinted. But a way that I try to limit that is by mostly focusing on only collecting complete sets of standard sets. A set like Double Masters, there's no way I would be able to collect a single copy of every card in Double Masters just by opening it, obviously, and then the individual prices would just be too expensive. It's just not worth it. And also, it's a reprint set, so a lot of the cards are cards I already have copies of, and that's something I'm going to touch on in these videos. I don't do core sets for a similar reason. They are almost exclusively, or maybe even exclusively, I'm maybe a little rusty on core sets. It's been a while, but they're reprints, right? So having multiple core sets is not going to generate a whole lot of new cards for me. But master sets, I love the Commander Legends set, the first one. The second one was okay. We're all kind of dealing with that right now, the fallout from that. And so I do like those sets. I do like drafting them. I loved Conspiracy. I loved Battle Bond. I love the draft sets. I really do for playing purposes. I love drafting. I loved sealed format. And then there are some good reprints, and sometimes there's new stuff too, and I do enjoy the new stuff for Commander. I'm mostly a Commander player, so that comes into play, and obviously in that concept of having a single card a single version of each card, because in Commander you only need one per deck. And my thought process has always been, if I can get to the point where I have a single copy of every card, then my decks can be made with proxies. For the most part, if I need, I'm going to use the original card in one deck, and then every other deck is going to have a proxy in it if I use the card in multiple decks. Or I could get to the point where I have a center original cards file, of all the cards that are in decks. And then I have proxies in the actual decks, and if anybody questions it, or I want to play in something a little bit more legitimate as far as tournament goes, which I almost never do, especially Commander, but if I did, then I could go ahead and I could pull out the original card and put it in the deck, and then everybody would be satisfied with that. But the goal would mostly be, my decks would mostly be proxies based on cards I own, right? I don't at all. I could see myself in the future doing it, but I don't at all include any proxies for cards I don't own. So I don't own one of each of the dual lands yet. That's something I'm working on. And so I wouldn't put a dual land in a deck that I don't own yet. I'm working on collecting the whole set of revised. That'd be my only that would be my only core set, basically, that I would want to own the whole set of. And I want one copy of each revised dual land. I've got only like 3 of them. I think it's 3. It might be 4, but I only have 3 of them, so I need to buy 7 dual lands. I'll get there, trade for them, buy them eventually, and then put together the rest of the revised set. I think I'm missing like a handful of cards from revised other than the dual lands. So that's a whole nother conversation, basically. But my decks will not include proxies of cards I don't own for the most part. So having a single copy of every card makes building decks really easy. You just go in, you build whatever deck you want. More than likely you have a copy of that card. If you don't, you can order it, and then you finally have that card. Or you pick a different card to go in the deck, and so that's where I want to be. But right now I have thousands and thousands of cards, a lot of duplicates, a lot of variations, and I'm going to be trying to get rid of most of them. In a couple of weeks, I'm taking a whole vacation where I'm going to a whole week. Not a whole vacation. I'm taking a whole week off work. Me and my nephew, maybe my girlfriend's kids. We'll see if they want to help out. But me and my nephew are going to just sit down and finally just completely organize the collection. I've been working on it slowly but surely by myself, but we're going to just knock it out and get every set organized alphabetically. I'm going to get it all logged into TCG Player, and then I'm just going to pick which version of each card I'm keeping, and I'm selling, trading, or giving away the rest, because I've got too much. It takes up a lot of space. I don't need it all, and selling and trading can get me into other stuff that I don't have, and if I have a bunch of bulk, there's a lot of good organizations out there that kids, having a magic group for school kids, and just give them your bulk so they can build decks, that sort of thing, and in the very end probably give it to a store or whatever, like LGS, one of my LGSs that wants it. If collectors wants it, I'll give it to them. Either way, my goal is to get down to a single version of every card. Not every card, obviously I can't get Power 9 and that sort of thing, but a single version of every card that I have, and then put them all in binders. I don't want boxes. I want them all in binders, all in the same sleeve. Actually, probably double sleeved because some of the cards are worth quite a bit. So double sleeve everything, and then if it goes into a deck, it goes into a deck. You can pull it out of a deck, put it into a different deck, and all the decks are sleeved the same. And then that will be my collection, and I will have decks and binders, and that'll be it. With a set like this, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about before I started going through the actual spoilers. A lot of people consider this a reprint set. It is a reprint set. However, I consider it a variant set, a variation set. And that's because a lot of these cards didn't really need reprints. Maybe they've had reprints recently, and we will touch on some of them. They've had lots of reprints, some of them. And in those cases, some of the variations are just beautiful art. You know, a foil when they'd never had a foil before, foil etch instead of regular foiling, full art, you know. So there's good stuff to come out of this set for pretty much every card that's in the set, right? You know, either it's part of the draft and that makes the draft fun, it's got a nice variation, or it's a solid reprint that actually really needed the reprint. But for the most part, I'd say that's like a handful of the cards in the set, and we'll talk about it. But that's how I view this set. I wanted to talk about it as a collector, especially someone who prefers to have a single copy of each card in one of the variant styles. Usually if I only have the original card, it's just because I've never gotten the variant of it, because a variant will almost always replace the original, other than in my complete sets. So my complete set of standard, I have binders going back to when I came back to Magic, which was Battle for Zendikar. So I have binders of each standard set, a single copy of every card in non-foil, just a regular, the plain version of the card, non-foil. I have a binder for every set, every standard set, not a core set, not reprint sets, that sort of thing. And then some of the older sets, like because I used to play Magic when, you know, well, pretty close to when it first came out back in the 90s. And so I have some of the older sets completed, like Weatherlight. I have a complete set of Weatherlight. I'm working on a complete set of Revised. And then as I'm putting together my list of cards in TCG Player, I found that I'm really close on some other sets. And so, you know, maybe I'll just finish them up, buy a couple of the cards that I'm missing, finish up those sets, have a binder for those sets. And that'll kind of remind me of my childhood when, you know, when I played those sets when they first came out. You know, it's like, okay, so I have these sets completed, but these are sets that I played when I was, you know, a teenager. So other than that, though, I want the best version of the card. Right now, a lot of that is Secret Lair. I love Secret Lair. I get a lot of them. I would say most of them. I haven't gotten all of them. I'm not a big fan of the lands Secret Lairs, just because I don't need a bunch of different variations of lands. Some of the lands I like more than others. Right now you can get full arts from most of the sets coming out, so, you know, so some of them are really cool. I really you know, wouldn't just buy the Secret Lair lands usually, but if they're part of a bundle, I end up with them. I had someone else's Secret Lairs sent to me that I tried to get Wizards to take back one time, and they just never contacted me, so I still have them. And those were the full art text lands. I didn't order those, but I have them because Wizards sent them to me for whatever reason. And so, you know, so I have a lot of those. But for the most part, you know, I like to get the Secret Lairs. Those are the versions of the cards that I like. We'll be talking about some of those that I'm going to move on from, and I will probably end up selling those off because I like different versions of the cards better. But yeah, so a lot of my cards are Secret Lairs. And then this set is going to have a lot of the variants that I would like to hold on to. Get rid of all my other versions of, you know, Mana Vault, or get rid of all my other versions of, you know, another card that is coming in an amazing style. So that's what these videos are going to be. I'm going to try to keep them all right about 15 minutes, so I'll break it up because there's a lot of spoilers to go through. So I'll try to break them up. I think these will be a fun set of videos. If it's not for you, no worries, but if you enjoy that sort of thing and you want to go through these spoilers with me, I think that'd be a good time. So I'm going to end this video because we're getting pretty close to 15 minutes already, and then the next video we will start with the spoilers that first came out on May 12th. Alright everybody, take care. Have a good day.